We left off with the halachot of Graf Shel. So continuing now with a very important clarification to the entire principle of something that's disgusting that we're allowed to move out of the way. Lo itiru letaltel Graf Shel ela im ken hu nimtza bebait or bechatzer u'makom yeshivat bnei adam. This whole premise that we explained yesterday, the idea of Muktzeh as considered a Graf Shel, that it in theory should be forbidden to move, but because it's disgusting and it's a burdensome for us to be around, and the Chachamim permit us to move it because of Kavod HaBeriot. This only applies when the garbage pile or whatever the disgusting item may be is in an area that is commonly used by people. But if it's meaning like it's in your house, but however, if it's somewhere or in the yard where people sit. But if it's in a corner somewhere, or if it's somewhere in the attic that no one goes to and no one really sits, it doesn't bother anyone, or it's in the yard that's like a sidewalk or only something that it's not really where people reside and stay. It's forbidden to move it. And if you're concerned that a child might go and make himself dirty with it on the sidewalk or in the yard somewhere that you don't hang out generally, but the kid could go out and play, you're not allowed to move it, but rather you're allowed to cover it with some sort of a keli so no one goes near it and gets and it gets dirty. This is an important clarification for what we explained yesterday, that the Graf Shel needs to be somewhere that people actively use and sit and reside. So then the halacha gets into a more tedious point. So we speak it outside. What happens if it's in the corner? Is there any way? I still don't want it in my house, but it's in the corner. I don't really sit there, but I don't go there in another room, but it's still annoying. So he says sitting there isn't enough. You would have to go eat a seudah or do something substantial near that place. Now that place became substantial and it's used, now you can move it, Graf Shel with Tilzum min hatzad, but that's just a more specific case that if you're trying to figure out a way to get it away. What about bones and klipot and imasot and different types of shells that are disgusting? Even though you're not allowed to move and play with bones on Shabbat that aren't fit for feeding an animal, nevertheless, let's say you're eating Shabbat lunch, eating Shabbat dinner, you have a lot of chicken bones or whatever, or wings, whatever that may be, and you have a nice pile of bones. That's disgusting. Even though it's not even meant to feed an animal, you would be allowed to move it because of this idea of Graf Shel, and you can move it away with your hand. And now Rabbi explains that eggshells and different type of walnut shells that piled up onto the table. He says these don't fall into the category of Graf Shel. They're not disgusting enough that people get appalled from it, and you wouldn't be allowed to move it with your hand because they're not that disgusting that people get offended. So what do you do? How do you get rid of these eggshells that are on the table? He says do it b'titul min hatzad. So if they have a plastic cover, take away the plastic cover with the eggshells in it, or something that's not normal way. We'll talk about it on a plate tomorrow, but that's just an important clarification with Graf Shel. Have a wonderful day.